Very good evening to you and welcome to the deep dive. Welcome to the deep dive. Here we talk facts, we give it to you straight, and we crave your indulgence. We want you to tell us what you think. And while you're at it, folks, we ask that you share the video, share the video, share the video, share these videos. We want to get them out. There's an election coming up in Jamaica. We want these videos out. We want to reach as many people as possible to get people in on the conversation. So we ask that you share. Give us a like, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, give us a comment. We crave the indulgence. We want to have the interaction with you. Tell us if we're doing anything wrong and tell us where we can be better. We appreciate it, really do. Now, one of the things I want to talk about tonight is the thing I talk about mostly. It's on the issue of crime because I think we're not doing enough in Jamaica to stem this continuous problem, this continuous bloodletting. So the governing JLP, like the PNP before it, has been dealing with the issue of crime um, for a long time. Now, I want to be clear. All of us have our political leanings, but I think that if any if anyone is being reasonable, they'll agree that the JLP administration has been trying its best to curtail this this uh, this crime scourge. Now, look, I'm not here to make the case for the Jamaica Labour Party. I'm not a paid affiliate of the Jamaica Labour Party. I don't vote in Jamaica's election. I'm just saying, as a Jamaican, that we have to be reasonable. We have to be reasonable. We have a situation where uh, more than 6 years ago, where the PNP was in power, and we saw where the police force was ramshackle police stations, no vehicles, no equipment, not even uniform, no detective trained for a full 10 years under Percival Pattison because they don't respect the rule of law and they do not respect police officers. So we didn't see any improvements in the force for literally 18 and a half years. And even though the department now has a long way to go. The JCF has a long way to go in getting to where it needs to get to. Let us be reasonable. The Andrew Olness administration have done yeoman's work in trying to modernize the force, number one, which could not have come at an earlier time. This JCF, it's still not where it used to be in terms of training. Training, training, training. I hear the Commissioner of Police talk about training his men. But, Mr. Commissioner, with all due respect, you have a long way to go because simple effectuating an arrest has become a laborious task for the men and women. And you see the images every day. One police officer struggling with somebody and the other police officer standing around looking like they don't feel like it's a team effort. But this is something that Carolyn Gomes had planted into their psyche and into the psyche from Bruce Golding was prime minister. And they inculcated that into the police training manual to the extent that some of these police officers think that they're human rights activists, no, instead of police officers. That's a separate conversation. Not gonna have that tonight. But yeah, Wholeness has done tremendous work in modernizing the force. We don't always agree. We don't always agree because I have my ideas on what the force should look like. I have my ideas on the direction the force should go. I have my ideas on how police ought to be. And one of the things what I believe is that police should not be begging criminals to obey the laws. You should make them obey the laws. It's that simple. And those who want to cry can cry, but just don't break the law. If you break the law, we're coming for you too. I like the the way this commissioner speaks. You're not gonna tell us we're gonna go get criminals. We're coming, he said. We're coming. I love it. We're coming. I love the way this commissioner speaks. We're coming. And so JFK and Indicom can go to damn hell. We're coming. That's what I would tell the people. That's what I would tell them. We are coming. We're police officers. We're coming. And our mandate is to do our job. And to hell with those who don't like it. We're going to enforce the nation's laws. But let me be very clear. There are some in Jamaica and a whole lot of the loudest, and some of them are they wouldn't know their name on a bullock cake if they saw it on a bullock cake. Many Jamaicans would know their damn names, but they love being on social media talking shit. Okay, they love to talk shit on social media. Now, let me be clear. And a lot of them live in the United States too. They're vastly anti-police because they live in countries like the United States, live in countries like Canada, live in countries like Great Britain. No matter where they live, they can't do the shit that they want to do in Jamaica. They can't do the shit they cheerlead in Jamaica. And as I said earlier, they are and have been shipping guns from the United States into Jamaica. It's not Americans doing it, it's Jamaicans doing it. So we know the psyche of Jamaicans. They want to inundate our country and use that as their little fiefdoms. And this is why we need strong laws on the books to put these low-life scumbags where they belong. The time I have been saying this for years and years and years. Jamaica need to get out of the space of acting like their law enforcement is supposed to be about human rights. No, it's not. Law enforcement is about enforcing the laws. Now, does that mean that the police doesn't have to act within the constraints of the law? Absolutely not. The police must respect people's human rights. But we cannot keep talking about human rights when we have such a high crime rate, one of the highest in the world. Not just in the Western Hemisphere, as some would have you believe. One of the highest crime rate in the world, Jamaica has at over 47 out of every 100,000 people dying. Okay? That is pandemic numbers. Those are astronomically intolerable numbers. So let's get it straight. We cannot continue down the path we're on. And the path we're on, there are a lot of people, many outside the country, many inside the country, who are gang related. They come out and they demonstrate against police. When police do things, then they will see nothing, and the media give them a platform on which to spout their lies and disinformation. But we also understand that psychology. We understand the psychology of that movement. That has been going on from as long as I can recall. That has been going on, where people live in certain neighborhoods and they're obligated to go out to demonstrate against the police. The sad reality is that it has become so commonplace, even when they know that they're lying, that the younger generation completely buy into this, even when they're not living in those neighborhoods. They buy into it that the police are these mean people. No, the police officers are putting their goddamn lives on the line for you, in ungrateful scumbags. Some of you are scumbags. A lot of you are scum. A lot of you are scum. I'm not going to mince words tonight. A lot of you are scum, right? Because wherever you live in the world, you have police, law enforcement respected. Jamaica is the only place where police officers are not respected. And it's not because of anything they do. It's because of the dancehall culture there that hates the rule of law. And you literally have these some of them are not even semi-literate, they're completely illiterate fools calling themselves artists, degrading the rule of law and degrading law enforcement and degrading police officers. And of course, an even broader part of the society following these fools down this rabbit hole. Gotta stop. The Prime Minister recently spoke about just how the crime numbers were low. I even did an earlier deep dive on that, in which I cautioned that when it comes to homicides, there's precious little that law enforcement can do to prevent homicides, right? If somebody wanna do harm, lethal harm, mortal harm to another person, they're gonna do it. There's a precious little law enforcement can do about that. But the police is only one arm of the process. And this is what a lot of people don't understand. And I'm speaking particularly to some of these mental midgets who love to criticize and talk shit that they don't know about. The police is only one arm of the process. The police's job is to go out there, arrest criminals, prepare the case, give it to the prosecutor, and it's up to the prosecutor. So the prosecutor now has the case, and it's the prosecutor's job to prosecute the criminals. But before the prosecutor starts to prosecute, the prosecutor must have laws. That's the role of the legislature. That include JLP and PNP. Now, we have a track record that the JLP, with all its faults, is on the path and has a record of wanting to do the right thing. Stronger laws, stiffer penalties that offer a deterrent effect for the most violent offenders. Gotta have that, because without that, you don't have a country. But we have another party, the PNP, that pushes back on every aspect, every piece of legislation that would come forward that would enhance the deterrent capability in the laws. The teeth, they oppose that, because in their party, they have drug mule, twice convicted drug mule in their party hierarchy. That's the party of the dons, the garrisons, the lawlessness, run with it, anything or anything. So no one should be surprised that the PNP, the JLP administration has to fight this battle with the PNP, which is a party that runs on the ignorance of the masses. No one is surprised by that. That party runs on the ignorance. So it's an uphill battle getting tough legislation passed that would act as a deterrent. And so let me explain something to you folks. There's, a lot of people think that the police got to take them off the street, police got to take them off the street. But if the laws are not there, if the laws are not strong enough, and as soon as the officers bring them to court and the prosecutors put the case before a judge, the defense attorneys get up and ask for bail for these murderers, and they're out the same day, and they are arrested for another homicide they brought in, and the judge let them out again. And this is sometimes up to 6 homicides, none of them yet tried, and the judge let them out again. One case, the guy just tired of killing and getting bail. He left the jurisdiction and arrived in the United States, committed crime, and was held and sent back to Jamaica before he faced a trial. This is the dilemma, because the judges are a law unto themselves, and they create all kinds of excuses as to why they keep letting the murderers out on the street. So, folks, let me explain something to you. You could have a drought, and if you keep pouring water into a pan, but the pan can't hold the water, there's no point to it. Nobody's going to have water stored up to drink, so everybody's going to die of thirst. So here's the thing. The police can take these miscreants off the street. They could take these bleach-out-faced monkeys off the street, and the prosecutors do their darndest best to present a case. But if the laws are not strong enough, and if the judges are unaccountable and do what they please and let them out under all different kinds of excuses, using all different kinds of excuses, is to no avail. The Bail Act categorically stipulates that a person may be denied bail before trial if the person is likely to reoffend, meaning if the person is likely to go back and commit another crime, then that person should stay in jail. The Bail Act also stipulates that if a person is likely to flee the jurisdiction, meaning the guy has a visa and is likely to jump on a plane and run away and not face the crime for which he's charged. Or if he'll jump on a boat in some hidden cove and head to Miami or Haiti or wherever, or Mexico, and then head to the United States or wherever, then that guy should stay in jail. People, this is not rocket science. The Bail Act categorically says if the offender is likely to interfere with the witnesses. How many times you see these witnesses get killed because the judges let back these dirty criminals back onto the streets? But there is no outcry about it, because Jamaicans love criminals. And Jamaicans believe in demigods. Jamaicans fundamentally believe, not all Jamaicans, but there is enough people in the country that they believe in this dancehall culture, which is an cesspool of criminality. Look how many of their members are locked away in jail as it regards their percentages in the society. And look at the types of crimes they're in prison for. Homicides, rapes, shootings. That's what the dancehall DJs go. And these are the people that the Jamaican people emulate, listen to. If you get new education from dancehall DJs, you have a problem. But that's what they do. That's where they get their education from. You know, and so I cautioned the government. I said, look, I've been saying it. You know, lower murder numbers 1 month are, you know, it's hard. Okay, you can't hang your hat on that. You can't start making the argument. Be very cautious, because when it comes to violent crimes, the police can arrest, but you have to have tough laws and mandatory minimum sentences that forces judges to respect the damn chair that they sit in and follow the law and put these guys away. Because the more people who commit violent crimes you take off the street and take them out of circulation, the lower crime numbers you're going to have. So there are those who say, well, you know, just like they said, remember they said capital punishment is not a deterrent to murder. That's what the liberal legal eagles in the country say, right? Yeah, they convince you, and so there's a moratorium on popping them damn blasted neck, right? So you can't pop them neck no more, and now you can't lock them up in prison too long because you're breaching their constitutional right? No, when you commit a homicide, when you commit you give up your damn constitutional right. You have no right. We're gonna worry about the rights of your victims. But we have a criminal-centered justice system in Jamaica, not a victim-centered justice system in which the families and the estate of the decedents are respected. We have so much deference and respect for criminal murderers. Even the judiciary has become supplicants, sycophants of these murderers, granting bail, light sentencing, making all kinds of excuses. So we have to ask the question, how much it costs to buy a judge? Right. Not going to be too long, but, you know, at the start of March, Jamaica recorded 28 murders according to the latest serious crime statistics published by the Jamaica Constabulary Force. This sobering number follows what some hailed as a record-breaking February, where the island reported 47 murders, the lowest monthly murder total since the year 2000. We're celebrating 47 murders per month and saying, that's great that we only have that. Imagine. It was according to the government's loyal mouthpieces a sign that Jamaica had turned a corner in its fight against violent crime. I cautioned against that. But the rush to celebrate was not just premature, it was reckless. While some politicians were busy patting themselves on the back, those of us who analyze crime trends from a position of reality rather than political expediency warned of what was to come. I caution against any premature celebration because there's little, if anything, any police department can do on its own to prevent murders, particularly in a country where the justice system is fundamentally broken. And we have a fundamentally broken justice system. Jamaica's law enforcement has always been the visible tip of the crime fighting spear. The men and women of the JCRF are often the first to respond to crime scenes, the ones putting their lives on the line to investigate, arrest, and apprehend criminals. Yet they operate within a wider system, a system that in Jamaica is failing the people miserably. You cannot police our way out of a crime epidemic when the other pillars of governance, the legislature and the judiciary, are effectively handing murderers a free pass back onto the streets. I can't tell you how many times I've made that case. We are literally operating a revolving door for the most violent murderers in our country. Take, for example, the legislature. While the government boasts of crime fighting initiatives, and police strategies. These efforts are constantly undermined by weak laws and politically driven obstructionism. The opposition People's National Party, PNP, is notorious for its criminal coddling tendencies, has consistently resisted efforts to strengthen Jamaica's legal framework against violent offenders, whether out of misguided ideology or cynical politicking. Their actions or inaction send a clear message to criminals. The state lacks the will to deal with you decisively. The situation worsens when one considers the role of the judiciary. In Jamaica, we are saddled with an unelected, unaccountable cadre of bureaucrats who often seem more concerned with the rights of the accused than the rights of the victims. Bail is granted for repeat offenders. Trials are delayed for years, providing loopholes for murderers to escape justice on technicalities. Sentences, when they are finally imposed, are often insultingly lenient, an insult to the families of those who are victims. Justice ensures that too many cold-blooded killers walk free, emboldened by a system that cannot or will not hold them accountable. It is no wonder that despite temporary dips in homicide, as we have been talking about, the underlying reality remains grim. The first few days of March have already proven that many of us have been saying for years, crime in Jamaica is systemic, and without comprehensive reform, any reduction in murders is fleeting. The record low murder rate of February was not the beginning of a trend. It was a blip, a statistical anomaly that the government rushed to claim as a victory without addressing the root cause and the root causes of the violence. And let's talk about those root causes. Jamaica's persistent bloodletting is not just a policing issue. It's a governance issue. It's a legislative failure, a judicial disaster, and a societal collapse of values. We have created an environment where law-abiding citizens live in fear, while violent criminals operate with impunity. The government cannot continue to deflect responsibility by pointing to momentary declines in crime statistics when the systemic dysfunction remains unsolved. What Jamaica needs is not a press conference or ribbon cutting ceremony. It needs a legislature that is willing to enact tough, no-nonsense laws that prioritizes the safety of all law-abiding citizens over the rights of habitual criminals. It needs a judiciary that operates with efficiency, transparency, and a clear mandate to deliver justice. And it needs a citizenry that demands accountability from every branch of government, not just the damn police. The fact is, Jamaica is a small nation of fewer than 3 million people. There's no reason, none, why we should be losing hundreds of lives every year to murder. Yet here we are. And until we stop pretending that police alone can solve this crisis, until we stop celebrating premature victories, and until we hold every part of the system accountable, the bloodletting will remain a brutal daily reality for the people of Jamaica. This is not cynicism. This is the hard truth. And Jamaica deserves better. Folks, we ask you to share this video so that the word gets out. We ask you to give us a like, give us a share. Please give us a like, give us a comment. It is not my wish or joy to ask you, but it is important for the algorithms. Thank you. This has been the deep dive, and we'll see you in the next dive. Thank you so much.